Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Music Talk stream. I am your host, Rezi Orenji, your favorite music-loving, yarn-spinning orange cat boy. It is Saturday, October 4th, 2025, and it's been a decent weekend. It's been getting pretty chilly where I am recently. Thank God fall is finally upon us, but that means having to adjust to wearing long sleeves and jackets outside and all that stuff. And I don't mind that and all, but it's just another consideration before I have to leave the house. It's it encourages my shut-in behavior, which with seasonal depression coming around the bend, I ought to manage a bit more this time. Jeez, especially with me having to move out pretty soon. I'm actually scheduled to move to my new place next weekend, and I'm very much looking forward to that. I think the added sunlight's going to do me a lot of good, but also just I'm very much hoping that I'll be able to stay stationary there. I'll be able to actually dig in and start working in earnest on on the deep dives. That's not to say I haven't been working on my script for the past few months. I'm currently at like 38 pages, but I really need to finish it off. There are a few interviews that I've been thinking I need to line up for the conclusion section that I haven't done yet, and I need to line that up. I need to set a reminder for myself either like tonight or tomorrow to do that. So either to just do at least just reach out, because there's no guarantee that I'll get these interviews at all. I'm fully aware that the people I'm thinking of contacting are busy people, but hopefully it'll come together, because I think it'll be really cool, tying it out into all the themes that I've been weaving throughout the series of the rise and sort of decline of Los Angeles in the cultural sphere in the United States and all that sort of thing. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I could, get lost in with that conclusion, but I'm definitely hoping that, having interviews with subjects, sort of, in the know about those topics will allow me to sort of streamline things. But anyways, enough of my updates on, my glam deep dive. Hasn't really been too much happening musically in my life either, aside from, practice with IRL bands. But, we're not here to, yammer on about my life. Let's get into talking with our guest of the evening. And this one, I believe, is a friend of Mortal Martians, my guest from last week. I like to, chat with my guests after stream, see if they have any cool music making friends that they'd like to, that they think would be down for it. And this dude, when I looked at his profile, I was very much intrigued right away. He brands himself as an alt idol, and I very much I'm not really much of an idol VTuber in general. I appreciate the hard work that goes into idol VTubing, and I like the hollow live stream here or there. But the prospect of an alt idol, somebody who takes all the energy and hype behind idol work and combines it with like all the sort of alt music culture, that's very intriguing to me. It's the same reason that I'm friends with Noriboshi Ariel, the Cantomancer VTuber who does a bunch of her own music production and weaves in a bunch of metal riffage and soloing into otherwise idol-like music. That's the sort of fusion that I always love to see more and more of in the VTuber community. So I'm very much excited to dig into this dude's brain, dig into his music catalog, and see what's what here. So, would you all please join me in welcoming Ashe Krixi? Welcome, man. How's it going, man?
Hey, it's going well. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for coming on the program. You know, I usually like to start these streams opening the floor to my guest, and so one thing I usually like to start off with is just by asking them like, how did you sort of spark what was the spark to your musical passion? Because it's one thing, right, to just sort of have music on in the background as like a soundtrack for your mood or whatever. It's another thing entirely to be a music making VTuber that already has like 3 albums, EPs, or what have you on Bandcamp, and you've got plans to release much more, I'm sure. So where did that journey start for you?
So, okay. There's a story to this. So basically, when I was very young,
Hmm.
I didn't seem very interested in many things. It's because of my autism, but I did seem really like I had a weird handle on music from an extremely young age. So
Oh
I mean, I was
yeah.
like, oh, well, buy him a guitar and a drum kit, and I immediately picked it up. And then I guess I got bored. So I was like, okay,
Hmm.
guess we're done. And then, because you were talking about this off stream before, uh, family rock band became a thing. Like all playing rock
Yeah.
band together as a family. And they decided to buy me a drum kit. And at that point, I was like in middle school, so already writing things on like on like piano and whatnot. And he just bought me
Yeah.
that. I was a musical savant from an extremely young age, and
That's
my
awesome.
dad was very much like oh well, I don't want to force him into anything, so he waited a long time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
after that, like I still have the first song I ever wrote when I was about 13. And I've been writing ever
Wow.
since, like consistently. Um, as for becoming a VTuber and doing it, that's so I released my first album in I believe 2016 or 2015 under a
Right.
different name. Um, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to write
Yeah.
music, and then I released my full first album in 2017.
Hmm.
Um, and so then when VTubing got on the scene, of course, I was like, fuck it, I want to
Yeah.
learn how to stream. That sounds like fun. Originally, if you ever Summon 1.0 model, which a lot of you haven't, but
Mm.
um, I was not gonna do music
Oh
at
yeah.
all.
What'd you
I
look
was like,
like?
no, my music is on separate thing. I looked similar, but it more looked like a delinquent from like a Otome game.
Ah, I see. I
Um,
see. Kuwabara
so
like.
yeah, so when I pushed forward, as when I was like still setting all that up, I couldn't stop. I like sat there and I was like, I can't not make music. I just
Yeah.
can't. Um, it's too deep in my thing. I used to teach music like professionally. I can't not have music in my life. So I was like, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna fucking write music. However, I'm a little piss baby. I'm mean. I'm mean all the time. Um, I was kind of bored of, again, this is 2000 or 2021. This is super
Right.
early in VTubing. Um, the VTubers that did music were all doing, idol pop.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
said, it'd be fucking funny if a VTuber came out and immediately released like a death metal record. So I did.
Hell yeah.
That was one of the first things I wanted to do. So I became Ready P. Um, and it just moved on from there. I was like, I have so much music to share. I was like, well,
Yeah.
I'm moving everything over to Ashe Krixi now. This
Oh
is my
wow.
official brand forever. Yeah.
It's crazy to me like how many VTubers there are out there that have a damn good like death metal scream. Like even looking at like the corpo agency VTubers, you got like fucking Ike Evelyn, fucking Bantoin Haka. Even like I think
Yeah.
Aya Amare's done some like screaming shit in her covers recently. It's like
Some of them I know originally already were Utaite.
yeah,
Originally. So
yeah.
they were already doing rock music,
Right,
It's really
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, no, it's great to I was saying in the beginning, I always love, hearing VTubers that come onto the scene and, they take a look at what's going around and incorporate some of that into what they do, sure, but they're also, very conscious about trying to incorporate more genres and more sounds and what have you into the music. I always think that's really valuable in terms of like, pushing the VTuber medium forward.
Yeah. I agree. I feel like nowadays, especially like when I started, I think I was the only VTuber I knew that wrote and produced their own music.
Mm-hmm.
And then a little later, you had Iris, the Hollow singer, come
Oh
on
yeah.
stage. And then, and now I think there's Renzoto and Zeal. I'm not going to say
Oh
their
yeah.
past lives, but they're both extremely popular beforehand
Right. Yeah.
music producers. And then a little on top of that, I guess that dragged a few music producers into being VTubers, because now I fully have a project I'm building with 3 other VTubers where we're all writing the music.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
oh, I didn't imagine this 3 or 4 years ago.
It's great. I love seeing how musically talented the VTuber community is. You got like so many bedroom producers coming together and like making all these songs that, otherwise, they probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to do like in a mainstream environment,
Yeah, it adds another variety into your music, your art form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can just release music into the ether like I was vaguely doing before. I've got more of that later.
Yeah.
But when you add like the visual element of being a VTuber, there's so much more fun to be had with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So fun.
You got all those crazy cracked out like commissioned VTuber music videos that I wish I could so desperately recreate one day for my channel.
I've looked up the animation prices. I don't want to talk about it. I spent $1,400 on a 39-second meme commission.
Oh my god.
full animation. Because I just wanted, I thought, I was like, this is funny. This is what I want.
Yeah.
And I had to admit to myself, like, I just want to do this for fun.
Man.
But yeah, those animations are crazy.
Full respect to the artists. I have a few artist VTuber friends, but I'm just broke as shit when it comes to, planning and looking, ahead and like budgeting for that,
For sure.
So, kind of to pivot, like you, like as a VTuber, I've said you've got like 3 albums already on Bandcamp, right? I think it's kind of like a red, green, purple color sort of scheme thing.
There's blue coming out too.
Oh hell yeah! Which has been your favorite project to date?
Ooh, you can't do this to me.
I know.
Fuck.
I mean, if you need to rank, that's fine. But like,
Yeah,
I know it's like
okay.
choosing between a child.
I will say purple's my favorite.
Okay.
Purple's my favorite. I love green a lot of fantastic music in there. Red is an album that exists that I wrote. I feel like it's okay. I feel like my next Red EP will be significantly better in every way.
Hey, we all start somewhere.
It was one of those, like, 2 of the songs were really good. One I just fucking hate and is trash.
Yeah.
But they were written, for this. I didn't take it as seriously. And then I was like pissed that I was corporate at the time, didn't like do enough to hype it up. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna get bigger next time. And green and purple are basically me being like, I want to be bigger. I want my music to be more serious for me. I'm not gonna like half-ass it and send it out. I'm like, no. This I actually need to take time for this.
Yeah. So those were like a lot more considered efforts. Like you had more of an idea, more of a concept of what you were doing rather than just like cobbling songs together.
Yeah. I mean, each of the colors represents like a mood.
Right.
So you can listen to a song and be like, oh, this is this color, You don't need synesthesia for that. You can actually just do that.
Yeah.
So that was a dream I had back when I was like 17. I was like, oh, when I get big, I want to release music like that. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do it now.
I always find it cool when bands do sort of colored albums, whether it be like Weezer or... Do you know Baroness? Like, they have like the whole...
I love Baroness. Yes,
yeah.
they're also amazing live. Yeah.
Yeah,
So fucking good.
No, I really love when bands like incorporate colors into their work heavily like that. I mean, speaking of like Between the Buried and Me, we were discussing before stream with like
Colors 2
colors.
album, yeah. I saw them live not too long ago. They're amazing.
Oh yeah, I bet. You know, I've only ever listened to like the Between the Buried and Me that's available on Rock Band basically, but you know, I have a lot of respect for them as musicians, as you know, progressive metal artists.
Insanely talented. I want to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. No, I feel that. How would you say your sound has evolved from project to project? Like, have you incorporated more influences here or there between efforts?
I would say I would have to go back to before as a VTuber first and say I learned to break habits. I feel like everything I release, each one, I break a new habit.
Right.
That I tend to write in my music. Now, all my music sounds like me. I'm aware I have very particular songwriting habits. I think everybody does. Some more than others. One of my biggest ones that I do, and I'm very aware I still do it, and I'm trying so hard to stop, is I like very melodious melodies. I like melodies where it moves around a bunch. And I have a friend who's big into music, as in he's like touring with like the Fall of Troy and shit.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, insanely popular. And he was like, "Why do you always do that? Why do you always do like this whole like melismatic line?" I'm like, it's not really melismatic. It's more so just I don't sing one note. I go up and down.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I can't help it.
Yeah.
I have one song before that point that did that, but otherwise I just couldn't do it. And then, like for example, in Purple EP, the most recent one, I did the song "Now That I Found You," and one of the jokes for me was I'm gonna sing a straight line with only moving a few pitches, and the chorus strip.
Tell me what to do with all this pain. I can't let go now that I found you.
So it's really just a straight line that goes up and then goes all the way down, but which is my main habit. But you know, it's breaking those things that I know I do. Every single EP is breaking another one of those.
I mean, that's always cool to, you know, try to give yourself a challenge to, you know, consciously shift away from what you're comfortable with. I always turn to like the example of what David Bowie did in like Berlin back in the 70s when he was working with Brian Eno. You know, he had Brian constantly feeding him these like flashcards, essentially giving him like these oblique strategies is what they were called. It's like a bunch of like, different things like written down on these cards, like very vague ideas that, you know, he and his band would just sort of, you know, try to replicate in out of thin air there, and it's just like some of the most brilliant shit emerged out of those albums.
That's what happens when you have two geniuses really working together. Brian Eno is a bonkers. I studied him in college and university. His music. We had to transcribe his music.
Oh gosh.
In case you want to have a terrible time. In case you guys ever want to not have fun at all, there you go.
Oh man. How do you transcribe ambient? Like that's just sort of
You know, it depends on if you want to use a graphical notation or try to use a real notation. I did graphical notation for it because I was like, I looked at him and I'm like, "You're joking, right?" And he was like, "Nah, it's gonna be great. It's good for all of you guys." I'm like, "Oh my god, here we go." It was new music. It was a new music ensemble. So it was a lot of like very unique avant-garde music, which as we'll talk later, I'm very fond of. Like I agree with you. I love that era of Bowie and that sort of like what the fuck do we do? I mean, like you get Frank Zappa as well. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. I wish I listened to more Zappa. I feel like Zappa's one of those scenarios, like same with like the Grateful Dead or a bunch of other artists with like really huge live catalogs where it's just like I feel like getting into them now would be like starting from the very beginning of One Piece, you know? Like I don't know where to like fucking start or where I would stop even.
Frank Zappa, I feel like you could go right from his. You can actually just listen to his main catalog. He has great live stuff, of course, because that's kind of his main spiel.
Right.
But you can listen to his actual recorded stuff and be like, I see what he's doing here.
Yeah,
I don't like Grateful Dead. I don't. I worked in an alternative bar for years. I hate Grateful Dead. That's all I'll say about that one.
That's fine. You know, my parents were both Deadheads. Yeah, my parents were both Deadheads, so I was sort of raised in that milieu. You know, my dad was into like the Dead, like the fucking Jefferson Airplane, a lot of very sort of acoustic focus.
I love Jefferson.
Yeah, he was a very sort of acoustic folkish guy, and my mom, meanwhile, was more about like you know, new wave and like post-punk, and she listened to a lot of The Cure.
Good shit.
Like, yeah. So
both of my good shit. My dad was a big grunge and like new metal-y head.
Oh, nice.
Which is hilarious given his politics now. But we're not going to talk about the fact I grew up on Rage Against the Machine and System of a Down. He's shocked I'm politically where I'm at. Or that I like metal. He thought metal was a phase. I'm like, you grew me up on Soundgarden.
I mean, you know, the 90s was just on its surface so aesthetically aggro. You know, I'm not shocked that a lot of the higher ideas of those bands slipped under the cracks, you know.
Literally.
Man.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? How would you say being a VTuber specifically has influenced your music? Like, it's one thing, obviously, to, you know, have your own projects outside of VTubing, but as you're a VTuber releasing original music, like, what considerations do you have in mind? Are you, like, expanding on lore? Or are you, you know, singing on themes about, like, your career? Like, what how does that shape your music?
No. I do whatever the fuck I want. I think one of the things I did, so I'll talk a little bit about being an alt idol, because I think you mentioned this a little bit before I came in. When I did alt idol, it's because I'm making fun of idols. Especially VTuber idol things. I wanted to break that idea. I wanted to completely destroy it. There was an idol group called BIS from Japan, a J idol group, and they were completely alternative. And they were pretty much shock rock.
Oh, nice.
They were pretty much shock rock idol groups. So you know, you do get baby metal, which is fantastic music. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
They were straight up like, here's a song where we all commit suicide at the end. Oh.
So if baby metal are Kiss, these guys are like Slipknot.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, very much sort of like, the music is, baby metal has better music is all I'll say.
Right.
But like, I wanted to have this idea of, okay, here is an idol, like a VTuber idol. I want to break that. So some of the main things I did first is like, okay, part one, this is just music. I don't want it to be seen as VTuber music. I know, I'm very aware. I'm part of the music scene outside of being a VTuber.
Right.
I know how they feel about VTuber music. I'm incredibly aware.
Yeah. There is a bias.
Very negative. Very negative. And I was like, no, I just want to write music as a VTuber. And then I was like, when designing like my vibe and whatnot, I was like, I want to write what I feel like. I don't want to be held onto this concept of, I don't fucking know, like this cute, comfy style, or we're here to entertain. I was like, I have way more to say to that. Like, so much more. So one of the first ones I did is like the first song I ever released was Be Not Afraid. Which has a lot of things. I was just me, like, mocking, you know, the, oh, gotta be safe and careful VTuber thing.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I straight up, like, made a bunch of, like, references to God, but not in a positive way, because, like, that's a big thing. A lot of cussing, a lot of things about sex and the likes, and killing people. And I thought that was like a really big part. It was like, I wanted to disrupt this idea of being a typical VTuber.
Yeah.
And then I kept going, and then I wrote about being a VTuber. It's the only one I've done about being a VTuber. Identity, which at the time that I started, this will kind of lead into fujocore a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I'm intrigued. What do you mean by that?
There was a lot of men in the VTuber sphere who are all straight men.
Right.
Who are pretending to be gay, getting BL art, etc., for the fans.
Yeah.
And then you find out they're homophobic outside of it.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, I think you all deserve to get fucked. Pretty much. And I had a whole breakdown in the end of the song. You know, all the bass was basically very cattle decapitation style, because of course, why would I about like brutally murdering someone? And I think it's my only one about being VTuber, but it was me like being mad about VTubing.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean, there's a
like,
lot
why
of rich
wouldn't I
drama
be?
to exploit like that, you know, in the scene for music.
I feel like that is what I write a lot about, is like me breaking. I'd like to write songs that people relate to, that people are afraid to relate to, I think.
Yeah.
For example, like, let's see, like, even if we go to green, which is, of course, yellow and blue, right? So it's sad, but upbeat and fun. So it's like dancey emo. It's kind of what I called it. I fully made a song mocking K-pop music. It's not meant to mock K-pop music, but it's inspired by K-pop song. I like K-pop.
Right.
Called Atrophy, I Wanna Die. It's all about wanting to kill myself.
Right.
And things like that. Or in Purple EP, let's see. That's where fujocore, I really went deep into fujocore with that one. But, you know, we'll get into that. And then Blue EP, I think, has 2 suicide songs.
Oh, boy.
I really want to write songs that I think people relate to, that they're afraid to relate to, that I think other VTubers might be a little uncomfortable saying themselves. But I don't have a problem saying, you know, I sometimes incredibly want to die. You know,
I mean,
life sucks.
If you think about it, right, like a lot of the sort of like the big scene bands of like the 2000s, they were kind of like all idols themselves. Like the amount of people you see saying shit like, you know, MCR saved my life, or like, you know, swearing on like the nostalgic value of Vans Warped Tour. Like, it's like, you know, that shit changed people's lives. And, you know, even if it's not the traditional like idol, you know, path where you're like the shining beacon of hope and positivity, like, you're still offering people a way through life, you know, as the persona you're, you know, embodying, right?
Yeah. I believe idols are for, I know it's consumerism, of course. We talk all about the consumerism and idol shit, but I think it's finding solace through art. I know it's consumerism art. It's still art. I was arguing about this earlier with Taylor Swift's awful fucking new album. It's really bad. You haven't listened to it, it's bad. This come from a 1989 stan.
Oh my god, I've heard so many online music critics dogging on it, and for me, you know, I'm sort of just a casual on the sidelines, not really engaged with Taylor Swift all that much. From what I understand of the discourse, it's another Reputation.
I don't think so. Reputation had some hidden beats that were like, okay, I get this. No, this is absolutely like this. It just has nothing to it. There's no substance. Right. But like, I hate people who I don't care if you don't like her music, and it's hyper consumeristic, etc. You know, it's still unfortunately art.
Yeah.
Listen, it's still art, whether you want it to be or not. Who's that one like visual artist who did like the Madonna and the soup cans? What was his name?
Andy Warhol.
Yeah, Andy Warhol. I mean, it's all an argument about consumerism, of course. But that's the point. She's consumerist. It's still art. Sorry, it sucks. It's bad art. It's still art.
Yeah.
And I think idols, even though it's consumeristic art, it's people finding solace through art.
Absolutely.
So I still want to provide that, maybe in a different fashion. I want people to feel like they're not alone in the same things I feel when I
Absolutely.
started writing music with lyrics. A big one was how I feel and how much I wish there was more music that felt what I feel.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like there's not a lot of that out there. When you get the very rare like queer punk bands and whatnot, you know, get against me, and it's et cetera, the Butchies, et cetera. You're like, oh, I understand what it feels like to hear somebody scream and yell about the same thing I feel.
Yeah.
I fell in love with that very early on. The Butchies. I fell in love with queer hip hop. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh. And it really expanded my horizons like crazy. And I really felt like when I became a VTuber, I wanted to and started doing music with it. I realized it took some time. Being a VTuber is kind of you figuring out what you like to do. For solidly the first year and a half, was me being like, I want to be a VTuber that is open and loud about who they are and what they feel and what they believe. And I want that to be a comfort for people. I want people to know that I politically align with this. I emotionally align with this. And I'm gonna fucking fight for it. I'm very politically active in real life. So, like, that's a solace for a lot of my viewers and a lot of my listeners have the solace of, like, I can't believe I'm not alone.
Yeah. Now that's
feeling, and that's what those scene kids were in the 2000s.
I mean, that's always
cut my wrist and black my eyes.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's always what I'm trying to do, you know, provide community for people who otherwise wouldn't really have it in terms of, like, you know, finding someone who they want to chat their ear off about music or whatever. You know, I want to. We live in a very atomized society these days, especially with, you know, technology getting even worse and AI psychosis just fucking cooking
Virtual
people's brains
insanity
alive.
might have been right.
Yeah, it's just like
Jamiroquai might have had a point.
we're everybody is so alone these days, and to be able to be a VTuber and provide community around a certain niche, I feel like is a very invaluable thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's part of being a VTuber, though. It's also finding a niche that fits you. I feel like that's where a lot of VTubers get lost. Not to go off on a tangent.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is important for music, too. It's all art, of course. Do what you love is part one. But you do have to find a niche in VTubing or anything else. And I will transverse a little bit into when I was building sort of my brand and when I really start realizing I need to lock the fuck in.
Yeah.
And it worked, of course. Fujocore was one of the first things I slapped on my shit. I was like, Fujocore. Immediately doing that.
There you go.
And it was kind of a running gag. I mean, I will answer the question, what the hell does Fujocore mean? I have my first full album I ever released was an entire album. It's like 10 or 12 songs.
Right.
You think I'd remember, but it's back 2017. Based on a fucking fan fiction. I wrote an entire album based on a fan fiction. Percy Jackson fan fiction. If I want to make it worse for myself, I might as well.
Wow.
So that was the first one. And when I went to get it mixed, my friend, the same one who he's part of a band called Lobby Boxer. I'm gonna hype him up real quick.
Oh, nice.
I think they're about to tour with either Fall of Troy or The Story So Far. No. Oh my God, who wrote? I can't remember. That's embarrassing. I hope he never watches this. Anyway, he will yell at me. He like jokingly called it Easy Wave, and I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, it's like Easy Core. So like Newfound Glory and whatnot. He's like, it sounds like you're Depeche Mode who listens to way too much Newfound Glory. You know what? Fair enough. So I kind of took that easy core, that post-hardcore, the core that core, you know.
The core
and
core.
then, which also means deathcore, metalcore, etc., core. And then I was like, but part of the joke is I write a lot of music about gay anime boys. I just
Right.
do. So I used the fujoshi. So fujoshi core. And I was like,
Oh,
fujocore.
yeah.
It's called fujocore.
Yeah,
It was kind of
yeah.
memeing also on, what is it? Like Nintendo core and all that stupid, you know what I mean. And all those early 2000s when they decided every single band needed their own core name.
Yeah, no, we really sort of bastardized that suffix, I'd
Ugh.
say.
Quite a bit. When people call it metalcore, I'm like, is this metalcore? I would call this alt metal or alt rock, but okay. And deathcore, I don't want to talk about deathcore.
I'm still not even solid on the differences between metalcore, deathcore, hardcore. You know, there's a
Incredibly different.
post-hardcore.
Yeah. Post-hardcore is what you would call emo if you don't know what emo actually is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're not going to call Algernon Call Dweller, like, emo.
Yeah,
You're going to be like, oh, yeah, this like some sad indie shit. Like, no, that's actual emo. That's what emo actually is. What you're talking about is post-hardcore.
Yeah.
Some mix it, All American Rejects, My Chemical Romance, etc., like, will mix it. But like Sleeping with Sirens, Pierce the Veil, that's post-hardcore. That is not emo.
Is Hail the Sun post-hardcore too, or are they metalcore?
I would call Hail the Sun post-hardcore personally.
Okay, yeah, I've got a friend who's really into them. They
I was wondering if you were into them.
Huh?
Are you into them? Have you seen them live?
I haven't really listened to too much of their music, but from the bits and pieces I have heard, they're pretty fucking good with their instruments.
They're great. We won't talk about them live as much. They're a little boring live. Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
Fine. The music's great. I think some bands and people in general are either they're either studio bands or live bands. For example, why the fuck would you listen to a Grateful Dead album? You'd listen to a live show.
Yeah, it's
Who
true.
the fuck listens to a Grateful Dead actual album? You're listening to a live album, right? And then you have bands like, say, Hail the Sun, where it's like, maybe, or The Pretty Reckless is another good one.
Yeah.
Saw them live. Great music. I never want to see them live again. Full beat. Arctic Monkeys.
Dragon Force.
At least they admit it. Dragon
man.
Force. Ugh.
My so many Guitar Hero memories. What was I gonna say?
So many. I feel you there.
So I guess kind of pivoting off of that, like how many concerts have you been to?
Too many. Way too many. I took a long span. I'm not going to concerts from 2020 to 23, and then started going again. I go to enough concerts. When the metal shows actually come here, very rarely. I'll go to like the indie shows. I try to go to pop shows, but it's so expensive. I love pop music just as much as anything else. However, 3 of my coworkers are currently at the Chapel Roan concert.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
There's not a lot of us. So if I just 3 of us, like, oh, so you're why I couldn't take off to go to the Chapel Roan show. Because all of us are trying to do it. Right. But I don't get to do that, but I've seen like, Christina Aguilera live, etc.
Nice.
Like I've seen these great vocal powerhouses, especially live. God, so many, because every time I go to a live show, no matter how bad it is, which is very rare, there's usually one band I don't like. It leaves you in awe. It leaves you just breathtaking and just like, this is why I do music.
Yeah.
This is why I do music. Maybe I don't do live shows, of course, but seeing all those people around me screaming out the lyrics, clearly feeling the artistry. That's what I do music for.
It's incredible.
It's so good. Doesn't matter the genre.
Yeah, I'm in a few bands myself, in the New York City area, and they're all well and good. We're not really, successes by any metric, but I really do love, getting to play out and like, hear the audience's reactions. It's just like it's a fucking itch that you can't really scratch any other way.
Yeah, it's very unique. I love playing live. I did opera for 5 years. Professional opera I did professional opera for a year, and then semi-professional opera for 4 years.
Oh, nice.
God, I miss doing that. I miss live playing so much.
Yeah. Also, welcome, MDA
any-
Scrub Boy.
As a big gods, and somebody who's also done bands IRL.
Yeah.
I love it, but unfortunately, I'm a little too well known for being a songwriter and producer.
Yeah.
So they just kind of throw me into the wolves. I have fully joined a band as a drummer, might I add you. So, the least important part, logically.
Right.
That
Hey,
was my
I'm a
goal
drummer.
anyway.
I take offense to that. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm a drummer too. And I was like, cool, I don't have to do anything. I just play with the fucking music. Now,
Yeah.
tell me why I was writing all the music. Why the fuck did I join the band and suddenly they're like, what do you think? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, well, you're the one you write a lot of music. What do you think? And I'm like, well, that's not why I joined this band. I joined the band so I could just play somebody else's music.
Yeah.
I've been here for 2 weeks. What do I think? I don't know. I've been to 2 practice sessions. And that's what happens to me quite often. It is me doing all the music and then them just playing it. And I'm like, this isn't why I joined a band.
Yeah. Yeah, I always find it more rewarding to, bounce off of each other with an idea rather than just like completely doing it straight the way somebody brings it to a band, right? I don't know. I just think there's a lot more creativity and spontaneity that goes into that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know it depends on the person, how you personally write music and whatnot.
Yeah.
I love having full control. I want to have control of everything. I want to do everything myself. That's why I write my own solo music. So when I was joining a band, I wanted to leave all that behind. I was like, I don't want to do anything.
Right.
I want everybody else to do everything for me, just play with them. And having it thrown to my wayside, so you just write everything. It's like, but I'm not getting musical fulfillment.
Right.
I'm not learning anything new here. We're playing my music now. I don't want that.
Yeah, absolutely. Always feels good to bounce off of others. So I'm wondering, like, do you have any fun concert memories from the shows you have been to?
Oh boy, positive or negative? Because I think they're all fun. I think every concert's fun.
You can give a grab bag here or there. Go right ahead.
Okay. We'll do a positive one first, a negative one. So for a positive one,
You good?
That's what they are. And they pulled so many of us onto stage to have an on-stage mosh pit. While they're playing, they grabbed the fucking mics and had us all scream the next part. Oh, it's so fucking good. One of my favorite memories. Love it.
I'm sorry. What band is this again? I think your audio cut out.
Stun.
Oh.
Set to Stun. They're really, really good. And then I would say another positive one, just because I'm on the positive kick.
Sure.
Went out to a Ghost concert not too long ago. Okay, it's about a year and a half, 2 years ago. One of the opening band, because it was Volbeat, Ghost, and this opening band, Twin Temple. They are satanic doo-wop.
That sounds incredible.
It is. Oh, it is so good. They actually record in mono.
Oh wow.
They fully record accurately, studio accurately. So they have one mic and everybody's in the room. Really
That's
cool.
Incredible.
It was so much fun. I didn't know what I was getting into with them. I don't know. I just didn't expect, sax and all these brass instruments while she's singing about burning a Bible. You know what? Yeah, fucking for sure. And all the music would stop, and she's saying this beautiful melismatic phrase, and immediately was on pitch, like, correctly, right when the music started again. Oh, so good. Genuinely one of the most fun moments of that entire show. But for not fun, but still fun in some way. I thought it was funny anyway. When Hailstorm, Pretty Reckless, and Starset did a tour together. Pretty Reckless had their like one big hit, you know. And listen, Hailstorm is known for their singer and their drummer, right? Because they're brother and sister. That's why they're called Hailstorm. Pretty Reckless doesn't have that. People know them for their singer, who she used to be an actress. Of course, she was Cindy. What was she? Cindy Lou Who?
Really? Huh. Wow, you learn something new every day.
Whoever the kid was in that movie. So she has a band called Pretty Reckless, yes.
Fascinating.
And she kind of made their selling point when she got big. She is cool. She's very punk. She's great live. She has great voice live. Don't get me wrong. However, we don't know your guitarist. Your guitarist's not well known. He's not fucking Van Halen. He's not Tom Morello. You know, he's not Eric Clapton, as much as we hate him. He is a nobody. Why is he having a 10-minute guitar solo? It's just no other music, just him.
Wow.
Are you joking? I sat there, was like, after like 1 minute, I looked over at my friend who I was going to concerts with, and I said, I'm going to go to the merch table and buy merch.
This dude was doing this as an opening act?
This was the second act. Starset had not gotten big yet. Starset was the opening act. It's Pretty Reckless and Hailstorm as a duo. Yeah. Now Starset's huge now. Don't get me wrong. But at the time, it's like they were still tiny. I saw them live 4 times before they got big. I cannot believe it took them that long to get big. Their music's not amazing, but if you want a good live show, yeah, that concert was amazing in general. Pretty Reckless, whatever. Hailstorm puts on a god tier amazing show. Starset puts on an amazing show. And again, I go to a concert for an amazing show. Right?
Yeah.
Show.
I'm just so fortunate that, like, most of the music that I'm into, I'm very much, like, one of those, I like more, like, psychedelic rock, sort of, like, psychedelic, like, stoner metal, that sort of scene.
Yeah, I do
like,
love stoner stuff. Yeah.
Especially from Australia, like, you know, a lot of the music, like, especially from, like, the Melbourne area, the Perth area, like King Gizzard, Tame Impala, Psychedelic Pouring Crumpets, Orb. I saw Orb recently. They came through my area. They were fucking incredible. Huh?
I love a lot of those bands, at least. Especially, of course, Tame Impala and King Gizzard. I think everybody likes them. But
I haven't been keeping up with the new Tame Impala album, the rollout. You know, I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. I think there's still. I think it's still in the promo phase, but I don't know. I know I'll listen to it eventually. I don't know. I kind of wish Kevin Parker would go back to doing more, you know, psychedelic rock instead of, you know, psychedelic dance pop. Not to say that music isn't good here or there, but just like, you know, variety is the spice of life.
I trust him. He's such a good musician. I think he'll
absolutely.
do it. It's like, I'm always going to trust the King Gizzard record to at least be good. It might not be like...
Yeah.
I don't worship their music like everybody else does, but I know when I listen to a King Gizzard album, I'm going to like it. You know what I mean?
I'm dreading the day that we get to the point where King Gizzard album releases feel rote instead of like a new, you know, discovery every time, because I feel like, you know, they've been on sort of a generational run since fucking 2016, 2017 at least, in terms of just like so much like fucking crazy music they've released in that time span, and not all of it's, you know, solid or good or whatever, but, you know, a good fucking portion of it, I'd say.
It's all fantastic artistry.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or not, it is. Well, they're not a Slipknot situation, but it is a Slipknot situation in terms of I have very hot take feelings about Slipknot. But it is like Slipknot, where this is clearly an entire band of insanely fucking good musicians all in one
Yeah.
band.
Mhm.
Now, you can go the King Gizzard route and write good music, or you can go the Slipknot music route and be like, how do you write such bad music and all be amazing musicians? Every single side project that Slipknot does with other people or things, anything Corey Taylor does, the drummers, etc., every side project there is god tier amazing.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely the best things you ever heard.
Right. Right.
Now, why do you step together? Somebody do the math.
I don't know. I like a few Slipknot tunes here or there, personally. I haven't listened to much of their entire discography, but
Yeah, I mean, I respect it, of course. I'm never gonna shame someone for their music taste. I don't give a
yeah,
shit.
yeah. No, totally. So what instruments would you like to learn if you had the spare time? Either instruments or like production techniques or what have you.
God, I wish I could learn how to mix vocals so bad. You try, I'm so bad at it. Other than that, it's so hard. I do music for video games, which luckily doesn't have a lot of vocals.
Oh,
so
neat.
I can do just fine. But otherwise, I fucking suck at adding vocals things. Instrument-wise, I live near a folk music shop that offers lessons. So most instruments I want to learn, I can just learn there. I've learned banjo, I've learned oud, I've learned hammered dulcimer, I've learned lap dulcimer. I'm a folk instrument fan.
Neat.
My main instrument I desperately want to learn, but it's fucking $2,500 for an instrument, is hurdy-gurdy. It's such a cool instrument. Hurdy-gurdy's my favorite instrument. Oh, it's so cool.
I love seeing like YouTube content creators pop up, like having learned the hurdy-gurdy. I think, like, what was it? Down the Rabbit Hole, did a whole video on that, and his thing. And I feel like, I don't know, either Lindsay Ellis learned it or she learned accordion, some other funky keyed instrument. It's just like those are
cool.
Those are really cool instruments that we don't really hear a lot of, in the mainstream world, but it's always cool when they do show up.
Right? It always sounds cool. I love instruments like that. I just like that. I mean, like, obviously, like guitar, bass, drums, et cetera, et cetera. Like, cool. I know the basic shit.
I only know what a hurdy-gurdy is because of Low Man's Lyric by Metallica. That's fun.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I listen to a lot of folk metal.
What is Low Man's Lyric? Is that a recent Metallica song?
I don't remember.
Oh, it's off Reload. Damn. Yeah, that makes sense why I haven't heard of it.
I'm about to say it's a bad album if it's what I'm thinking of. It's Reload.
Metallica, very interesting career after the Black Album.
I was talking to somebody about this, and I was like, Megadeth is consistently decent, but the highs of Metallica are better than Megadeth's, but the lows of Metallica are so much worse than anything Megadeth would ever put out.
Oh yeah. Now I feel I would say that the albums that Megadeth are the most on par with Metallica are in terms of quality are like Rust in Peace and like Peace Sells probably. I think are
Peace
like
says,
Yeah. Classic.
I mean, they did some fucking great stuff too on like Killing Is My Business and So Far So Good So What, and I mean, granted I haven't listened as much to like Countdown for Extinction, but like Euthanasia is a really solid album. I remember getting that like way back in the day and and listening to that a bunch.
Countdown to Extinction is so fucking good. I actually really like, even their more modern stuff is great.
Yeah?
So, yeah, I mean, it's not god tier amazing, don't get me wrong, because they're old. But it still sounds great,
Yeah. I respect that they're trying to hang it up now. I mean, clearly they can only go so far at this point with Dave Mustaine being as old as he is.
Literally.
But then again, you know, Slayer reunited literally a few years later after their fucking farewell tour. So I don't know. I feel like with these big major rock bands, they can never truly stay dead unless like their passion to make music is dead, essentially. Like
Yeah. I think you have to know when you're done.
yeah.
Like I feel like that's something a lot of musicians try to push past. Like sometimes you're just done. It's okay to be
Yeah.
washed and be like, I'm done.
Right.
You have to go through a new musical endeavor, like say Haley Williams did.
Yeah.
Or you're just done. OTEP, she said I'm retiring from music.
Mhm.
The last album also fucking sucked. Last 2 albums fucking sucked balls as a big OTEP fan. And it's like, you do have to respect when it's time for you to go, you know?
Mhm.
We're done writing music.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can come back later, but, you know.
I wish Kiss would fucking take the hint already.
I'm sorry, do they still write music?
No, I mean, no, they're not. I don't think they're making music, but I know they're doing like another sort of Kiss Cruise like event. Like, they're calling it Kiss Cruise on Land, and they're doing like a few. I think it's like Paul Stanley, Gene, and Tommy Thayer at least. I don't know if Eric Singer's involved, but they're you know, gathering around and playing some Kiss music for fans. You know, it's like, just let it go, man.
Guys, that's so... Are they gonna die on that tour? Like, they're old! They're so old!
I mean, I don't think they'll ever be in the makeup again, truthfully, but like...
Nah, never.
Like, just the fact that, you know, they tried retiring once, then they had, you know, another fucking 20-year wind, and then they retired again, and then they're just like... And then they keep coming back, and it's like... Sorry, me in particular, you know, this channel kind of got big off of doing like this whole series on like the sort of collapse of Kiss's, you know, commercial viability in the late 70s, early 80s. And, you know, since then I've been, you know, thinking of doing a sequel. So, I mean, I'm going to do a sequel series on like Kiss in the 90s and like 2000s at some point, and the collapse of that. And I'm just dreading, like, saying what I'll say about, like, the current incarnation of Kiss, or at least Kiss as it's existed, you know, for the past 10 years or so, you know, both pre-retirement and post. It's a lot, man.
I just feel like it's okay to admit your fave is washed. It's okay to say that.
Yeah.
Listen, OTEP's last 2 albums were literally so fucking bad. I sat there was like, wow, I cannot believe she wrote some of my favorite music. And Taylor Swift in general, girl, she's washed. Like, we can accept that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kiss have been washed for a long ass time. I mean, even...
Well, they're good, quote unquote good. Okay. I noticed a lot of hot topics about Kiss and whether they're good or not.
Yeah.
The music's fun. Detroit Rock City's a really good song.
Everything they
made,
everything they made in the 70s, I'd like to say, is at least decent. You know, the further out you get, like, they have some good stuff in the 80s here or there, but, like, the further out you get from their glory days, the more pointless the albums seem, the more it seems like, oh, it's just the new release, the new excuse to, you know, get people on the road and see them play, like, all the classic, you know, hits, right? It's like... They really just got uninspired after a certain point and became a nostalgia act.
Yeah, I just feel like... Oh no, it's okay to be done. It's okay to be like at the gates before you release a new album 20 years later. And be like, yep, this is all the music we're writing. I'm glad we had our one big album, we're done.
Definitely. Which, by the way, I've been collecting Kiss's discography as of recent, inspired by other vids about Kiss, including yours. Oh, wow. That's cool. I mean, feel like that'd be quite expensive, like especially depending on like what format you're trying to buy them in. Like I'm sure like you could get a bunch of Kiss CDs on the cheap at this point, but like collecting Kiss vinyl, I have to wonder how many of those albums are in print at the moment, you know?
I don't even want to imagine it.
It's another grunge album. Oh, fucking Carnival of Souls. Yeah, that is a weird
So
fucking
bad.
album.
They're like, I have a lot to say about that, but I won't say it.
You're fine. You're fine. Let me see. So as a producer, have you done any production work for, other people in the VTuber space yet?
I've mixed some songs for people. I've done background. I've made people's BGMs.
Okay.
But that's it. I will be honest. I don't like doing things for other people.
That's fine. Yeah.
really
You're not the sort to want to do commissions in the future.
I simply don't like doing 3 fucking Has-Been Hotel songs in a row, personally.
I fucking hate it. I literally had to put in my fucking TOS. I will not do it for Aspen Hotel or the other one, Hell of a Boss. I was like, I'm
That's
done.
funny.
I did 4 in a row. 3 were the same songs. Like, no, never again.
I've never even watched, anything Hell of a Boss or Has Been Hotel related. It just looks like zippy line animations to me.
I'm sure it's fine, but no,
Yeah.
not for me. I'm
I
sure
col-
if somebody wanted me to write them a song, I'd gladly do it, but on its own.
That's fair, yeah. I collect CDs. The only vinyl I have are gifts. Yeah, I used to collect a bunch of CDs myself. Like I have
I collect these still.
I have a whole ottoman full of them somewhere, back in my old house. I don't know if they're still around or if the fucking discs have rotted already, but like it'd be cool to, just keep, collect them all again and, put the music somewhere. I feel like, since I lost touch with my old iPod and started shifting over to streaming services, I've appreciated a lot less the security and comfortability that is, owning your own music.
Yep, you gotta do it. Or at least yo-ho fiddle-dee-dee it.
Yeah. Oh my god,
Mind if I take a piss real
1,000.
fast?
Yeah, go right ahead. Oh my
Awesome.
god, 1,000 CDs. That is a lot of CDs. Do you have like fucking racks upon racks to put them in, or like? Because my dad used to have like a big CD collection himself, but he was one of those sorts where he'd have like the giant ring binder, full of like the CD sleeves, and he'd put, CDs in there. Yeah, I don't know. I just collected, all the jewel casings and put them down in the ottoman. I'd love to eventually, like, God, I've always been envious of like those massive like video game rooms, right? Where you have like shelves upon shelves of cartridges and CD cases. It just the I mean, I know that's like just raw consumerist hubris on display right there, granted, but like I kind of want to show off like just like all of the music that I've collected over the years, all the tastes that I have. It's got, I guess it's kind of the musician's effect of like having your own library. Couple of racks, soft shelves, sort of thing. Some are even piled on the floor. Well, careful there. You might accidentally knock them over. Yeah, I would love to like welcome back. We're talking CD collection and stuff.
Yeah, I heard it. I have, I think, 3 giant boxes worth of CDs.
Oh wow.
I have everything from, anything you get at a simple, like, record store to, like, I fully will buy, like, albums of soundtracks from Japan.
Oh yeah.
Like, of video games I play,
That's
shit like
cool.
that.
Man, I love going to cons because like you get to see a whole bunch of like imported Japanese like CDs and Blu-rays, and like there was even at this most recent con I went to, like Anime NYC, right? They had a booth set up that was like I forget what their business name was called, but they were like this sort of Japanese like vintage record import, essentially.
That's fun.
And like, yeah, they had like a lot of like 70s, 80s, like sort of Japanese pop, folk, even a bit of city pop here or there. Granted, the city pop they had was, a bit more obscure than like what they did have of like the fucking Tatsuro Yamashitas and, other big names. Like it was like fucking $35, and I was like, I ain't paying that much for a 7-inch. But like,
Insane.
it's like, I love, being able to, come across physical music from other countries. I wish I could be able to purchase more of it.
Yeah, I mean, going to Japan and going to record shops when out there was always really fun for me when I was there. I was like, I can't not go to one,
And it's really cool how they have like those little sort of wrappings on the outside with like the sleeve sort of thing. I wish we had more whimsy like that in the West.
We don't like that stuff here in the West.
Yeah.
Hell, they barely like it at this point anymore.
Oh, yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. A lot of basic CD stuff. At least I still buy CDs.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're kind of going off of that, we've sort of been mentioning a lot of bands and artists this stream, and you've got quite the healthy taste in music, especially with alt genres. Like, what's the history there? How did your taste sort of develop over time?
Okay, actually, I do have a story for this. I love talking about this. It's really funny. So, grew up on grunge, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin,
Nice.
Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, et cetera, et cetera. My dad got into Rage Against the Machine, System of a Down in the early 2000s, which I also grew up on. And then my mom's piece of shit, motherfucker, trash-ass boyfriend at the time showed us OTEP. Now, at the time, I didn't realize I was queer until a little bit later. I was like 14.
Right.
A little bit before that, I did have my generic gay boy fall in love with pop superstars. However, OTEP was my first pop superstar, and she's a metalhead. So I got into Arch Enemy, The Agonist, etc. in this moment, etc. I got into all the metal girly pops, right?
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of my grow up was sort of like that and my dad was like, oh, it's all a phase because I grew up with metal from him. I don't know what he thought was going to happen. It pretty much stemmed from there. I got into that. He showed me Van Halen, which just has some pretty metal things going on.
Yeah.
With that in mind, I got into, Metallica, Megadeth, all the classic thrash, Slayer, etc., etc. Anthrax, of course, which I know is sometimes not considered part of the...
Hey, I love Anthrax. Their output in the late 80s is fucking great.
I'll put Anthrax above Pantera any day. Anyway, before I get shot for that one. And then, what was it? And then I found Arch Enemy, and then At the Gates, and that pretty much opened up my mind to the rest of it. And I quickly fell in love with heavy metal in general. The alt genres came a little later. I'm not really sure what happened. I will say the first step was, hilariously, Super Bass by Nicki Minaj. For some reason, broke my metal's the only good genre of music.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I came obsessed with that song and Nicki Minaj in general, and then Gaga, and I finally opened my ears to things that I hated before. So I was finally starting to look at these alt bands, these post-hardcore bands, and that sort of sealed it for me, because at that point I was already writing music.
Right. And
I realized I really, really liked their sound. I really enjoyed this sort of like I don't know, the newfound glory sort of sound, that sort of
Yeah.
thing, and then getting heavier. And then I almost instantaneously got into like actual literal emo music,
Yeah.
American football, the Midwest emo sound.
Mm-hmm.
Aldrin Caldweller, The World is a Beautiful Place, I'm No Longer Afraid to Die, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
I started digging into those, like this is the sound I love.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
unfortunately, I'm also still a huge metalhead, so I kind of met in the middle with it. And hence why I feel like a lot of my music leans into like slightly experimental post-hardcore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wouldn't say totally experimental though.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I really feel like, in terms of musical journeys, it's very common for like us to like sort of mill around for a few years, like especially if you have a taste as open as like us. You mill around for a few years, explore different genres, but then you find that one genre that you really fucking connect with and want to make music in the style of, and that's the sort of thing you bring to your projects every now and then. Like in my case, that's probably fucking like psychedelic, like the Australian psychedelic rock I was mentioning earlier. That shit really, that shit really galvanized me as far as like modern rock music that's still being made nowadays. I definitely want to be, spiritually at least, a part of that scene. I wish I could literally go over to Australia, but that's probably not happening anytime soon.
As somebody who is on the other spectrum of my favorite type of music that inspires me is insane shit. If you can hand me something, say, I've never heard anything like this, and if I cannot label genre-wise what you send me, you've done it. One of my favorite musicians right now is Fire Tools.
Oh, yeah.
If you've never heard of Fire Tools, there's no way to describe them, so I will list off their genres, right? IDM, jazz fusion, ambient, cybergrind, vaporwave, extreme metal, prog, industrial, new age, screamo, emo, power violence, noise, atmospheric music.
They are not on Wikipedia, so you're gonna have to send me like an example of their shit, because I am fascinated to look into them deeper.
Her shit is fucking insane. Genuinely some impressive fucking music. You have no idea what you're getting next. The sound design, the music design, the fact she just randomly throws in super heavy guitar with her screaming, but then all you hear is these jazz chords over on like a new wave synth pop sound. So cool. I like that kind of music. There's a band called Unexpect. I'm not gonna even list Unexpect genres. It's about 15 to 20 genres. If you mix a shit ton of genres together, I'm gonna love it.
I saw you're also very into like 100 gecs, so you're like also on that hyperpop train.
I love hyperpop. I love that experimental, like my favorite instrumental, I won't say instrumental, I'll say my favorite composer of all time is Krzysztof Penderecki. If you don't know who he is,
Threnody guy.
Yes, Threnody Victims Hiroshima. He believed that music should symbolize what it's supposed to symbolize. It doesn't have to be pretty if it doesn't have to be. And I firmly believe that. I don't write like that normally, but I love that idea. I want my music that I'm listening to symbolize what they want it to symbolize.
Yeah.
So that's why I like that kind of music. That's inspired me greatly. My friend is like, why did you include this in the song? And I was like, because I thought it sounded good. That's what I wanted. Why do I add sampling into my hard rock and metal songs? Because I like it. Why is there a random sound bite of Bakugo from fucking My Hero Academia crying? I don't know, because it sounded like I needed it in the song.
Yeah.
Hello?
No, I really love the freedom that comes with like wildly experimenting with, ugly sounds in a sense. I mean, ugly in quotations there, but like I always think back to how my paradigm was shifted like when I was in college in terms of what I considered like great guitar music or whatever. Like when I first listened to Adrian Belew like performing with David Bowie on like his 1978 Isolar 2 tour, like there was a specific live clip where he like where they play station to station, and like Adrian Belew just goes fucking ham with the feedback on his guitar, and like
you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, like he's listening to he's like trying to loop the feedback, and it's just like the most insane fucking shit. Like it's not technically proficient at all, but like it's like it like sonically it is incredible.
Sometimes what you want is cool. Listen, I don't care how virtuosic you are. That doesn't change the fact that, in my opinion, Tom Morello is a better guitarist than Van Halen. One's more virtuosic, the other's cooler. I'm sorry. Tom Morello did cool shit with his guitar. Yeah. I know people like to mock it, a wah pedal. Okay, are you using a wah pedal like that? Are you doing that? Be real with me right now. Are you using full stop patterns like that? No, you're not. No, you're not. Don't fucking lie to me. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's fucking cool.
I love when guitarists experiment with that shit. You also listen to like King Crimson?
Oh, I love King Crimson.
Fucking
in the court of the Crimson King.
Or of course, my favorites.
My epitaph.
It's incredible. It is incredible how much Robert Fripp, sort of evolved his playing as the band progressed. Like, to the point where he had to make his own fucking system for, like, open tuning guitars or whatever. It's crazy. Like, have you ever seen those videos of him playing with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? Well, maybe not that. His League of Crafty Guitarists.
Maybe. I've seen a lot of videos of him because he's crazy.
That is a wild video. It's like him and his ensemble of like guitar craft students like playing this very hyper specific like acoustic music.
So cool. I mean, I love that in anything. I mean, that's why like Frank Zappa sort of like pitches but a pitch.
Yeah,
I will sing whatever needs to be, or you get, shit, you said, who's it? You said Robert Fripp, and then I had another person in my mind of like, yes, this other person also does it where you're like, what the fuck? Can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but just that idea of being like, how do you come up with this? What goes on your head? We're like, yeah, this is the sound I want to make.
Yeah.
Like when people start using talk boxes on their guitar and shit, it's like, where did you? How?
Oh my god!
Literally how? Womp 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 womp. You know?
Crazy.
Yeah.
So when you write your own songs, right? How do you tend to spark inspiration? Do you have an idea in your head going into the process, or do you like to play around before you come up with something?
Ooh, okay. So it depends. I feel like every musician likes to have like one way. I don't think I do. I have a certain way of like building my songs afterward, but sometimes there's multiple ways to do it. Sometimes I just play with samplers so something sounds cool.
Oh, nice.
Sometimes I doodle on a guitar. So I'm like, wait, hold on. So usually what I do, I will do it. I'll put a simple 4/4, 5/4, depending on what I'm writing, drum beat on, and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna play with this a little bit, and then eventually I will. Again, this is part of the autistic savant bullshit.
Right.
I hear the next part of the song. I just hear it. So eventually I hit something like, oh, this should be going here. So dun dun. And I'm like, okay, that goes here. And then that builds onto it. And then on top of that, so I build that main line. And then I just write on top of it. I just keep going on top of it. That's kind of one of the ways I do it. One of the other ways I hear a song, I'm like, I want to write something like that. I want to write that. I just want to write that.
Yeah.
I will hear like a chord progression I really love. And I'm like, I'm gonna write something like that, and it'll sound nothing like it because I'm incapable
Yeah.
of doing that.
Yeah, it's
Um,
always fun to sort of crib your own version of a particular thing.
Yeah. Especially when you hear something like really like it really hits you and it really tingles your brain a little bit. You're like, they had something right there. What were they doing there? So you go and check it out, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
huh. That was way more expressive than that. So one of the biggest ones, again, I'm a professionally trained musician. I literally have a license to train people how to do music. Okay.
Right.
So one of the big ones to me, there's an old. Okay, you've been talking about listening to hair metal. Have you
Right.
ever heard of the band? Is it Golden Blonde?
I don't think so.
Hold on, let me see. Platinum Blonde. I'm sorry, I did the wrong type of blonde. They were a Canadian glam metal band or glam rock band. Do you know the song "Not in Love" by Crystal Castles?
Oh my God.
When it first hits.
How have I not fucking... I was looking all over Wikipedia for fucking Canadian glam metal bands to include in the video, and I just completely looked over these guys. How the hell did I
Platinum
not...
Blonde. They got popular through "Not in Love," and then they got popular again because Crystal Castles covered "Not in Love," which
Yeah.
Crystal Castles full of awful people. And I only found this out because I was like, God, I want to cover this song, but Crystal Castles are terrible people.
Yeah.
So I found out it's actually a cover, and so I listened. I'm like, okay, but what makes that like art into the second, like the second part of the song, part B, so good? And I realized, oh my God, it's the same chord progression an octave down. It just sounds that saucy. So of course I had to throw that into a song, right?
Hell
So I
yeah.
wrote a new song with that in mind because I was like, listen, it's way too saucy. I gotta have that in a song, and sometimes that's the way I do it. That's how it works. And other times, I think the third one would be, I just play with sounds. I play with sounds, and then eventually I'm like, oh wait, I hear it now. It's coming there.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you want to badly cover a song, and you can't do it because you cannot write that type of music. So it becomes its own new song, and you totally are like, yep, this is my own song. 100%. Wasn't totally singing from another song.
Yeah. Now, I feel you on the whole layering approach, though. I used to be a lot more enthused about, like, pre-pandemic, I'd say, about, like, demoing songs on, like, this iPad that I have. Since the pandemic, though, I don't know. I feel like I've had a lot of songwriting motivation sapped out of me. I need to find the time and energy to sit down again with GarageBand and just go wild.
Can I give you a suggestion
Sure.
of how to get into that? One of my favorite things to do, if I'm like sitting like, fuck, I don't know what to do. Whatever song I'm obsessed with, right? Sometimes I just run out of motivation. Whatever song I'm obsessed with, I start transcribing it.
Oh, yeah.
And for some reason, it gets my brain juices going. I'm like, oh, wait, I know how to write my own music. Silly me. And I start writing my own music. But like sometimes you do have to get into that mindset.
Right.
Sometimes, especially if you're like saying like, I just haven't had the motivation. I haven't been motivated. I haven't had interest.
See, my
Push it.
whole thing is just that my music theory is rusty as hell. Since I'm a drummer, I'm far more of the rhythmic guy than I have ever been, like tonally and like harmonically. So it's harder for me to really like think of a song that's not exactly like riff based or like more rhythmic in nature. It's hard for me to write cool chord progressions.
What's wrong with that?
I mean,
Meshka
nothing.
makes their whole thing off of going 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but like, I just feel like I'd love to someday be able to have a more diverse set of songwriting skills.
You build along the way. You get the motivation to do the zeros, and then you add the cool, like, basic power chords, and then you move on from that into the cool prog chords that make my fingers feel like they're burning. You know,
Yeah,
you're not gonna
yeah.
get Mastodon or Baroness right away.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
It's okay to sit with those zeros for a little bit, you know?
Yeah, no, totally. So when you stream, like what do you best like to do? Are you like more regularly karaoke or gaming?
I do game. Okay, so I do have like genuine actual OCD. I do have to have a schedule and everything else. This whole thing.
Right.
I do gaming most of the time, and then once a month I do face cam karaoke.
Oh.
Because everybody liked that. And so it's like, well, I guess I'm a hybrid streamer now. Once a month, I now do face cam karaoke.
That's cool.
Otherwise, I occasionally do music production streams when I'm really feeling up for it. Usually, if it's like right after an album has come out and I'm playing the next album, I was like, I'll show what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's mostly gaming. I feel like I prefer story-based games. I like games where it tells a story because that's the kind of music I like to write. I like to write stories in my music. I like to have you engage in this. It's not a set piece in time. There's always more to it with my music, you know? It's always, it's moving forward. So I like that in games too. I don't like just playing a game for fun. I as much as I love League of Legends, you know, embarrassingly, I like to play story-based games. I talk about it a lot of like, I don't like Minecraft or things like that because there's nothing for me to do. I don't have a story to progress, so it doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
So I would say story-based games are my main bay. On the weekends, I do two things. I do sloshy Saturdays, where I get drunk with a bunch of friends and we yap about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. Usually, I do have a plan. Yeah, it's very funny. Or I also occasionally, I'm going to start doing it once a month. Sloshy seminars, which are I and maybe another person educate about a topic while getting drunk as fuck.
Oh my
Now,
god.
I'm a history buff. So I'm gonna get drunk as fuck and cry about whatever piece of history I'm talking about. I'm a big history buff, so it's really fun.
if there's ever a like metal artist or whatever that you want to do a sloppy seminar on, let me know at some point. I definitely that sounds like the sort of shit that I'd love.
I would
to do.
love to do just a metal like sloshy seminar or sloshy Saturday in general, where we just chat about metal music and drunkenly discuss metal because there's so much out there. I feel like, okay, I've said this before, I say it all the time.
Yeah.
There's a metal for everybody.
Oh yeah.
There is metal for everybody.
Absolutely.
Like me, I love orchestration of cool shit. Septic Flesh, one of my favorite bands. They've fully done concerts with 3 choirs and a full orchestra. Like,
yeah.
I love that shit. I know some people like, you know, they like the poppier stuff. Okay, you're gonna like symphonic metal, you know. You're gonna like epic, you're gonna like, you know, things like that. It's way more fun.
Or if you're pop, just straight up listen to Sleep Token.
Well, I don't call them metal, but sure.
Right.
I hate Sleep Token. Sorry.
That's fair.
I'm a Sleep Token hater. They're not prog. They're pop music.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I want to point this out. There is nothing wrong pop. As a big pop music fan, there's nothing wrong with pop music.
Right.
And I feel like when I say that, people get mad. Like, oh, so you hate them?
Yeah.
Like, well, I do hate them, but not because they're pop music.
Just because their songs aren't as well considered, you know.
They're not good music. It's not good music to me. I think their music's terrible. It's just Bastille with heavy guitars, which isn't a bad thing. I love Bastille.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't think their music's that good. I don't know why they're big over, say, Spirit Box or even like any of the other popular metal bands that are big right now.
Yeah.
I don't see anything that makes them any better. I would rather listen to decent rock songs. I listen to Lady Gaga, who always puts her foot in a little bit of rock music. You know, that's more to Beyonce supposedly is releasing a rock album next. And I jokingly have said, Oh. Oh, so she's about to sound like Sleep Token if Sleep Token could actually sing well. Right. Not that he's not a bad singer, but you're not gonna beat Beyonce. You're not gonna beat 4.5 fucking octaves. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're just not.
Hmm.
But I don't consider Sleep Token at all metal.
Right.
But there is a type of poppy metal that exists that sort of upbeat, sort of got the riffs, but also got the good hooks, you know?
Yeah.
All there,
Absolutely.
you know?
Uh-huh.
Sorry, not to be a hater. My friend and I,
No, it's good. I mean, I honestly
hater.
can't really comment too much on Sleep Token because I haven't really given them much of a chance myself. I just know they're quite widely hated and memed on.
I mean, they're also, I think they're memed on because they had one incredibly, quote unquote, good album.
Mhm.
And then they tried to appease their fan base too much that they got.
Mm.
And everybody else hated it. I was just like, okay, now this sucks because you've done. I don't know the whole story because I don't think their music's that good. I never really particularly got it.
Yeah.
But still, enough people still like it for some fucking reason. I don't get it. But hey, you can like what you like. They're not bad people. So you know what? Go ahead and like it.
Definitely.
It's my main idea. If they're not bad people, who the fuck gives a shit? You know?
Yeah, totally. So when do you have a particular favorite like video game OST?
Ooh, OST. Okay. Whew. I will go with 2.
There's also a
I'll go with 3.
licensed soundtrack you like. Feel free to shout that out too.
There's a lot of great soundtracks out there. I'll go with 3 main ones that I think perfectly encapsulate what I believe a OST should be. I'm going to go with the original off soundtrack, like off the game. I'm gonna go with Bloodborne, of course. Nobody's shocked by that one. And I'm gonna go with Horizon Zero Dawn. The reason for this is all 3 of these soundtracks take in mind the game itself and what it's meant to be. You are not just writing music for whatever reason. It is meant to symbolize this world that the game is in.
Right.
So, for example, Horizon Zero Dawn has cool, like, acoustic feel, but also this weird spacey feel. It's very open world, and it's empty almost. And it also have this mix of acousticness from these tribal people making their own music. It's really well done, really smart. Bloodborne is creepy, uncomfortable, and each of the tracks really just leaves you that consolidated level of fear and just discomfort that you really fit the mood. And off is just insanely off-putting and weird, just like the game itself. I respect that in a soundtrack. I want it to fit the game.
Yeah.
Now, there might be great tracks in other games, but...
I think a soundtrack that really did this well, and I mean, I'm still on my Silk Song train right now, but like fucking Hollow Knight Silk Song soundtrack was just stellar.
The OG Hollow Knight OST is amazing. Oh,
I mean, Christopher Larkin, he's just incredible.
Larkin's insane.
The ability like that, you know, that he's able to the ability that he has to orchestrate from behind his DAW, like it's incredible. Like to see what
he's
he got.
Incredibly smart.
Yeah, to get out of a MIDI program like that, that level of depth and detail.
Very beautiful. I feel like it really fits like sort of like bug aesthetic a lot. There's a lot of like what's the word? Pizzicato. There's a lot of staccato in there. That really feels like the bugs like walking around. It's very good. I quite enjoy. I haven't listened to Silk Song's soundtrack yet. I still need to play the game first. But I love the Hollow Knight soundtrack, so
Silk Song is I would definitely recommend Silk Song. I mean, it's It is a
I'll play it
very,
eventually.
it is a very, very hard game, but at the end of the
Yes.
day, I feel like its challenges, they gave you more shit to do with your character, so it makes sense that, things are harder now.
I mean, for me, it's like, I'll get into it, but there's too many games coming out that I was way too excited for.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
That's fair.
So
That's
I was like,
fair.
I had to.
It's a really
to be
good year
careful
for
what I want.
gaming again. Like, I feel like even when we're in a situation now where shit's just getting worse with the world, like, fucking games have never been better. Like, I mean, the game industry is dying, but like, in terms of like indie releases, some of the major titles out there from Nintendo, even like, I don't know, even some, creative teams that are still hanging on at Sony and Microsoft. There's a lot of great shit that they're pumping out these days.
Crazy good stuff out there. Like, it's been an amazing year for games, dude. Genuinely bonkers good.
I haven't even, like, Hades 2 came out last week, and I've been meaning to
I'm
give
obsessed
that a
with it.
try.
I'm literally obsessed. I can't stop playing it.
I'm sure. Like,
That Silent Hill F as well. Like,
I mean, Silent
Yeah.
Hill. I will say I'm not that knowledgeable in the Silent Hill series. I'm just happy for all the Silent Hill fans that finally get a good new game and something from Ryushiki
Finally.
to give him work.
it's about time we got something good. Guys, there's so many good game contenders this year that you're just like,
Yeah.
what do I even choose? Like, Clair
Yeah.
Obscure as well. Talk about good soundtracks.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
The French game Home.
But it was so good, so who cares?
Yeah.
They really
yeah,
found that dude on fucking SoundCloud. It's like, yeah, we want to hire you for your game. And then he immediately is literally in nomination for a Grammy. Like, you know what? Fair enough.
Hell yeah.
Can't
that
argue
is
with that.
that's the beauty of modern freelancing, baby.
Yep.
So, as an alt idol that does karaoke, how do you determine what you want to sing? Is that usually something that you like to come up with beforehand, or like do you do a lot of audience requests?
Depends on the stream. I try to come up with a theme. If I don't, I'm just fucking singing what the fuck I want to sing. My current playlist just on Spotify, I have stuff outside of that for my karaoke is I have 507 songs on just the karaoke thing. And then I have stuff outside of that. I tried to come up with a theme, but I was like, what the fuck do we want to sing? What kind of mood are we going for is usually what I ask for. Okay, what mood do we want? What vibes are we going for?
Yeah,
And that's kind of how I come up with everything at this point.
yeah. I've been meaning to do karaoke on my channel for some time, but I'm too lazy to figure out the whole sort of latency issue between between the
It takes a little bit of time. When you get it, it's a one-time deal. You get it, and you're like, all right, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, I just need to get off my lazy ass and figure that out. But I would love to, like, especially for, like, I don't know if you're familiar with Yarg. It's like sort of the recent fan-made rock band clone that's floating around out there, sort of like a successor to Clone
some
Hero.
videos of it. Yeah.
I would love to do like Yarg karaoke streams where I'm like playing guitar at the same time as like singing and doing that. Like,
Oh yeah.
I've seen like Asai do that in the past. He's big Guitar Hero rock band content creator, and like I love like whenever he does like streams where he's just like singing and playing along to the songs. I feel like that's a very chill sort of fun way of doing a karaoke.
Yeah, it makes it more entertaining and goofy and just it's more fun. I generally just do whatever fuck I want for my streams personally. I'm just like, I'm saying, who cares? I'm singing whatever I want.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I decide.
Absolutely.
I try to make a theme, but it doesn't always follow the theme.
Yeah. I mean,
You know how it is.
yeah. So like what inspired you specifically to become a VTuber? Like was it like some indie or like an agency thing or
I wanted to stream. I've always kind of wanted to stream, but like, I
Right.
never really did. And then it was very early on. Hollow Stars had just kind of come out. I was learning Japanese,
Oh nice.
and so I started watching it. And it just kind of inspired me to keep going. And I decided, like, fuck it, I want to do that. So I had my friend draw me a model, and I rigged it myself. And that's where it started.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do that. I know I could stream my regular face, but sometimes I look like trash. Not very often, but I do sometimes look like trash.
Yeah.
And also, I didn't want to be known for just like having a pretty face. So instead, I made a hot VTuber model.
Right,
which,
right. Yeah, like I see
Yeah.
I see a lot of people like posting there's a a meme or a trend going around on X or Twitter right now like where it was like IRL versus VTuber, and I know that happens like every few months or so. People want to recycle content, but like I've always been very cautious and OPSEC-y about being a VTuber. I value my privacy very much. I think my avatar speaks for myself, and I admire people who have the courage and ability to stand on their IRL selves and post that alongside their VTubing. But like I don't know. I don't think I could ever do that.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the person. I don't think everybody should do it if they don't want to. I do it because, well, I do live action music videos, so like my face is already on there. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But on top of that, like, in real life, I am unfortunately like generically attractive. I'm conventionally attractive. It's like whatever, might as well use it for free bait. Just who
fujocore.
cares? Exactly. People think I'm hot. They find out I'm obsessed with yaoi, and I sing really well. So they're like, "Wow, you're amazing!" Like, thanks.
I
Please
feel
give
like
me
that.
money.
I feel like that would describe a surprising number of VTuber males in the scene. Find out they're hot. They
Genuinely.
got a yaoi collection. I mean, I'm thinking of what's that one guy? The butterfly dude that debuted recently, Felicity something or other.
Oh, I have no idea who that is. I don't know. They
Yeah.
appeared out of nowhere, and I just kind of ignored them until I see content of theirs that I actually like.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I was gonna say, what do you hope eventually to do, like as a musician in the VTuber community? Like as loaded as a term as this might be, what do you hope is your legacy?
I hope people can understand that there are people who do VTuber music that don't just do idol music and actually do like genuine music. I feel like a lot of like I want to be appealing to, I guess, like quote unquote normies.
Yeah.
Question mark.
No, it's definitely
I feel like people use it as a gimmick, and like I want people to understand, like, no, you can like actually have like you can have genuinely good music, like as a VTuber, and it's everywhere for those who know how to look, of course.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So-
I really do feel like we're very rapidly approaching a threshold where I feel like there's going to be a VTuber charting single like on the Billboard charts or elsewhere in the world. It's probably already happened in Japan, right? Where like
Oh, it has, yeah.
A VTuber
Oricon.
releases a single and it gets on Oricon or like I think once we see VTubers on the fucking Billboard Top 40, then we know, like... My worry is just that, people will see it, as a gimmick, right? But... I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I hope people don't. I hope people like recognize that, it's just a fucking avatar, dude.
Yeah.
Y'all like gorillas.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, not to say that, like, you know, being on the top of a chart is like, it'll grant you like artistic legitimacy or whatever. But I feel like, you know, the more VTubing bleeds into mainstream culture, the more normalized it'll be that, you know, that's a path you can take as a creative, you know, whether you're making music or, you know, making movies or writing or doing ASMR or, you know, all sorts of other shit that VTubers do, you know?
Yeah, a lot of really, really good, there's just a lot of really, really good artistic things you can do, and it does not matter if they're a fucking VTuber.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any dream goals or collabs?
I have a few dreams. I would love to get God, if I could get Courtney LaPlante from Spirit Box on a song, and I know she'd do it. But I love that so much. I would love that. I've jokingly said I want multiple times. I want to write a song for a game company called Nitro Chiral. They do yaoi visual novels, and all of their novels are super dark and grimdark, and they always have at least one rock or metal song.
Oh my god.
Please, please, please.
That'd be a fun gig.
Yeah, so that's basically it. Those are the main two, I think.
Looks like we are just about the end of my question list here.
Excellent.
Something I usually like to wrap these streams up with, you know, given the recent shitty state of the world over these past few months. How do you tend to, like, cope with music? Are you the sort of person that, you know, seeks catharsis or, you know, seeks an outlet for your anger, or like what is your go-to when you're upset, angry, depressed, anxious, etc.?
Oh, I love angry music. I write angry music. That's what Red EP all is. I was like, oh, nobody expected me not to be even meter in my next Red EP because it's so fucking angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say in this awful world, I like to write music about it.
Okay.
I feel... Be like, fuck all of you bitches, like, you know?
Yeah. No, it's yeah, I wish I had, like, I don't know. I see, this is the whole problem with leaning into, you know, my gimmick of being a lazy orange cat boy, is that sometimes I just get a bit too off my britches and not, you know, I don't know. I definitely need to get better at channeling my emotions into song as soon as I feel them.
Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you just sit and let that simmer for a bit. And like, okay, now I know what mood I'm actually wanting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, otherwise, I think that's basically all I have for the conversation. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or?
I might have something. I think I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I feel like we added a bunch of extra questions as we were talking.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, that's
that's
the magic of these music talks. I always love going off on tangents with my guests.
Yeah, I would say I don't know if I have anything crazy to ask. I think I would like to say to everybody that music is a beautiful art form that you can respect and disrespect in any level of being, and everybody can do it. Everybody can learn it. Everybody can have fun doing it. When you are writing music, it doesn't matter if you're a musical savant or you don't know how to play a chord on a guitar. Just make it sound cool to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you do music. If the Beatles could sit there and have a giant fucking, like, concept of themselves while being completely musically literate, you can do it. Who gives a shit?
Absolutely. Well said. thank you so much, Ashe Krixi, for joining me on today's stream. Where can people best find you?
Thanks for having me. You can find me on Twitch at Ashe Krixi. Find me on Twitter at Ashe Krixi. You can find me on Bandcamp as Ashe Krixi.
Okay.
YouTube is Ashe Krixi CH, as you see here.
Mhm.
I also have Discord. I have a new album coming out at the end of the month, at October 31st, a Blue EP. That's basically where you'll find me the most. If you want to check out my creative works, it'll all be amongst there, from my story writing to my music to whatever the fuck else I do. I kind of just do everything because I can.
Oh yeah, that's that's awesome.
I stream Monday, Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, sometimes Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm starting a D&D campaign soon with other VTubers, so if
Oh,
you're
nice.
interested in hearing people play D&D, definitely come to that. I've been playing it for like 15, 16 years now, so, so that'll be very fun.
Neat.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, once again, thank you for coming on the show. It was a pleasure to have you. And yeah, if y'all are tuning in from my audience, go check out Ashe. He seems like cool people, and he's definitely got a very solid idea of where he's headed. Yeah, and if you're from his audience tuning into me, if you enjoyed this stream, please feel free to subscribe. I try to do these streams every week or every 2 weeks, depending on my current workload. And I also make like these music deep dives and like topics on rock music history. So if you're into that, please feel free to subscribe and, stay tuned and, follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter too, because I try to give more updates over there. But otherwise, let's see here. I'm going to dump this off. Is Aya still going? Yes, Aya is still going. I'm going to raid into my VTuber Oshi Aya Amare. She is redrawing cringe art that she drew from 2009, so
Oh, that's so funny.
hell yeah. But yeah, if you want to join me in raiding into her, feel free to type in cat raid in her chat. But if you want to step offline, go have dinner or have a good rest of your night, that is all well and good. I hope you all have a fantastic night. I'll hopefully have more soon to say about, the progress of my move and the progress of the glam metal deep dive, so stay tuned. But
Yeah, good luck on your move.
thank you so much. But until then, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.